Dadwar. He's the head of structural engineering department for the International Center of Investment and Engineering Consultancy. And he's going to talk about the BI, the Business Information Management, the future of that industry. So I want to welcome Mohammed. Thank you very much for waiting. And right after this, we're going to have our panel discussion. So please, all the speakers, be ready to join in on the panel. Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Hi. Good day to all, and thank you very much for having me and inviting me to be part of this great event. Our presentation is about the BIM, future of AEC industry. And let me, actually I would like to start to introduce myself. I'm Mohammed Dadwar, I'm a structural engineer, and my area of research actually development of the construction industry. So I had good experience in the developing the way that we work in order to obtain the best of any process we follow to produce our projects. Firstly, I would like to say that actually this topic is quite vague. So talking about AEC industry and its challenges is a big topic, and then talking about BIM also, it's a big topic. So I hope this 15 minutes will be enough to just give a good brief about this relation between the AEC and the BIM and how
just a quick thing, Mohammed, are you sharing? Are you doing a presentation? Because we don't see the presentation. We only have your camera.
Oh my God.
Yes.
How nice. Good you said that. Sorry. Okay. So let's talk about from the start. As we said, that it is a vague subject, and I hope this time will be sufficient to talk about this entire presentation. So, in the beginning, I would like to talk about the current situation of the AEC industry. AEC stands for the Architecture, Engineering and Construction. And when we talk about the challenges that faces the industry nowadays, there are lots and lots of discrepancies between the different disciplines of drawings. And if we talk about the conflicts between the contractors and consultants, contractors and owners or developers, so this type of conflicts always goes because of the loss of information which is happening when we move from a stage of the design to another. And when we talk about the projects, construction projects, we can talk about 4 stages of each project, which are the pre-design, design, pre-construction, and construction. And as we see here, as we go in time in the project, when we move, let's also first talk about the conventional way to build a building. The conventional way is we make a design with a consultant or an architect who will produce the idea of the design, which is provided by the consultant, or by the developer, or by the homeowner, or by whoever desire to build. And then the design is forwarded to the structural engineer, who makes the structure suitable to transform this project from paper to reality. And then it goes to the MEP team, which is also work on drawings to produce the solutions for the systems inside the building. And during each stage, we can find losses. After completing the set of drawing, we will make a tender. So and invite contractors to bid for the project and take the work. And in this process also, the quantities will be calculated and lots of work will be done in order to estimate the time and cost of the project and also the construction methods. Again, we will have losses from the beginning. So, and after that, when we start the construction, after appointing the contractor, we will have another losses because of, the project is like moved from party to another, from the consultant to the contractor, from the contractor to the subcontractor, and then it will be really a headache if the work is not organized very well. And here the conflict starts. A conventional way of delivering the project, the relationship between the stakeholders the relationship between the stakeholders is quite inconsistent, and sometimes it will be very tedious to trace from where the decision made and what did it impact. And in this way of working, let's talk about the design bit build. The construction is done, the workload, if we see here the graphs, we can see the workload is mainly coming at the construction stage. And if we talk about the projects which are coming in the normal projects in Oman or any part of the world, the design would take, if we talk about normal like 5 floors building, the design will take about a month or 2 months if the client is generous. And then when we go to the construction, it will take around 1 year or sometimes 2 years. So the workload is coming during the construction mainly. And at this point of time, the cost of change is significantly high, and the ability to change is significantly low. So when this is the current situation that we are talking about, and that's why it made people think about a way to find a solution in order to make the process that we call it the BIM, Building Information Modeling. So in this way, we the building information modeling is itself a digital representation of a physical and functional characteristic of a facility. This is as per National Building Information Modeling Standard in the US. And that means we go forward. Now, that means that the work will be done in this process to take the workload from the construction time or from the construction period to the design stage, where we will be able to identify each and every detail and the impact of each and every decision we make regarding our project. And to whom is this process is used? It can be used by the architects at the really early stage, and then the engineer, MEP or structural engineers, construction managers, and the facility managers. they are all can be benefiting from adopting this type of process, which, as we see here, the same graph when we discussed some time ago. The workload is coming during the construction, and when we move to the BIM process, we are taking the workload and all the important decisions to the design stage during we are developing. And at this stage, we can see that the cost of change is lower and the ability to change is higher. As we see from the yellow line, it represents how easy to change at this point. And when the project is only a set of paper, we can change easily and we can understand exactly what we are doing when we are having the data in front of us in a really good way of presentation, which is the three-dimensional. So this puts us in front of the future of AEC industry. Now, in the future of AEC industry, we will not be able to use the high-tech solutions without having high-tech model, which is produced using the building information modeling process. And in this process, we will have a model which is done during the early stage by the architect, and this particular model is transferred to the structural engineer to make the suitable columns, slabs, and beams that will carry the building, and then forwarded from the structural engineer to the MEP engineer who will provide the solutions of the HVAC or electrical, plumbing, pipes, firefighting systems, and even the smart solutions which will be provided. And in this case, we will understand how everything will interact with each other. And all the parties will be working on exactly the same model. So no loss no losses will be there during the transfer from discipline to another. And here we can talk about by producing the project in this way, we can have the opportunity of immersive visualization, which will allow us to see the project from inside. And if we got time, I will present one project that we have done earlier. And then we will go, we'll have also the possibility to use the virtual reality in order to go inside the building and inside the home that you designed or you requested to design, and see the details that will impact your decisions. Mixed reality, which also a technology that is using the, you will be in the real time, and then you will use this HoloLens or whatever product in order to see the imposed whatever technology in the real life, like the pipes or the HVAC ducts or whatever. Remote inspections with the drones, which will impact actually it will streamline the process of inspecting the high buildings or towers sometimes. Artificial intelligence is really the future of the AEC industry. When we are talking about the artificial intelligence in the design stage, which will impact the ability of the architects to produce some organic designs using some equations that will produce surfaces which we cannot draw it by hand, or we cannot identify it by hand. So, this will be used also as well as the 3D printed concrete, which also will be benefited from the artificial intelligence in the way that we produce the building itself and the way that we calculate the stresses inside the members. So I'd say that this part is the most important part in the future of AEC, and if we don't take the first step right, we will not be able to catch up with the other technologies that they are coming. Here I just would like to present the impact as we talk about the history of BIM. I'll not talk about it, how it started, but at the early 2000s, this adoption of this process has started, and we can see how the GDP of of Australia from construction, how it's soared up after the 2000, and the product of the industry is increased significantly by adopting this way of producing the projects. As well as UK, here we can understand the downturns because of the real estate crisis which happened in 2008 and Corona, as we see here. But if we see the difference between the curve at the early before 2000 and after 2000, how it's going, that is also because of adapting higher technology, reducing the cost of building, and maximizing the efficiency of the construction. And at the end, I still have some time.
Yes, I say 1 minute. Sorry, I came on late.
Yeah.
So
I would like to present a project that we have done using this process, and we allow the customer to have some better idea about his project. So I don't know if you can see what we are here.
Yeah.
Here is a hypermarket which we designed, and here we have modeled everything, and we are able to move inside and understand the impact of the columns on the shelves that spread out through the hypermarket, and then the cashier, how it's distributed in front of the facade, and how the lights will be going on, the natural light for this stage. And as we see here, we are not discussing the fancy design or the fancy colors about the project. Here we are discussing how our shelves are distributed inside the building and how the columns are impacting this distribution, which will impact the operation of the hypermarket significantly. And it will this allowed the investor to take a decision whether we can go for this or we cannot go for this, and we need another type of solution. So that's it, I guess.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank you very much for listening, and